Just about a day ago, on Tuesday, 4th of November 2025, Uganda's primary 7 completed their primary leaving examination. But what was shocking was that the teachers were more scared than the learners. You can tell that based on the number of arrests that were conducted in the country. A number of teachers were arrested from Masaka, Lira, Kisoro, and some other parts of the country. But this has been the trend for the past years, not just this year. But why would a teacher risk arrest just to help a child? Some would argue that the system has made them more afraid of poor performance than of the law. Welcome to Evolutionary Education Services. My name is Jaganda Alochi. I am a primary school teacher. And today I would like us to address something really very important, especially for the primary schools. And as we all know, primary leaving examination comes with a lot of pressure. Everybody is aware. I don't know why it makes more news than the rest of the examinations, but let us dive into something very controversial. And this is the fact that when the primary leaving examination comes, almost everybody is on pressure, but teachers carry more pressure than even the candidates who are going to sit the examination. This is something really very funny. And as I said earlier on, why would really a teacher risk arrest just to ensure that the child performs well? A number of reasons will explain this, and it doesn't only stop with the teachers, it goes through the whole system. Sometimes teachers carry the blame and teachers carry the pain. Others are arrested. Imagine these ones who have been arrested. Their families are now struggling. They have left the family behind. They were struggling to ensure that the family lives better, but the same family now has been left behind. Why? Because this teacher tried to save, I can say, lives of children in his class to ensure that they perform better, so that he would also earn his meager salary to go home and have the family live a better life. But see where he is now, behind bars. It's something so painful. It is something very, very unfortunate. But is it the fault of the teacher? Is it the fault of the school? Is it the fault of UNEB? Is it the fault of the government? Is it the fault of the parents? Let's find out. Why does a teacher take such a risk? Don't blame a teacher at this point. A teacher is a worker. He's working so that he earns his salary, however little it is. And he also wants his family to live a better life. He has been employed. The expectations on his side are too much. He has to deliver beyond what he can manage. Let's not judge the teachers here. The teachers are simply the scapegoats, just suffering from what the system has set for them. Let me ask you, have you ever sat down to wonder why a child goes to primary 7 and everybody expects that child to get a first grade? By nature, human beings are not the same. Others, that's why when you look at people, others are brown, others are dark-skinned, others are short, others are tall, others are, others have the teeth outside, others have. Human beings will never be the same. That's the nature. So we don't expect the brain also to function the same. The brains are different. So when these people come together, the problem is that the teacher is expected to perform a miracle to ensure that all the children become the same. And that's where the problem starts. We all accept the fact that by nature people are not the same, but we want all of them to become the same in terms of academics. How can that happen? Why do we see that some footballers play better than the others, yet they are undergoing the same training? So we need to accept the fact that children cannot be the same. And that's why the teachers are suffering. Let's dive into this into more details. Why would a teacher risk being arrested just to help a child? Yet he knows very well that if he is arrested, he will leave his family behind to suffer. She will leave her family behind to suffer. Why would a teacher take such a risk? The first thing that makes a teacher to think of taking such a risk is unrealistic expectations. We have expectations from all corners. Your employer wants his school to perform well because the future of the school relies on that. It is the performance that will bring in more children, and more children will bring in more money, and the school continues growing. Therefore, you as a teacher who has been employed there have to perform any miracle to ensure that the results come. And that's why even some of the directors themselves get arrested. We heard from a leader, there is a director who was arrested. We have expectations from the parents. Today's parents want teachers to perform miracles. There are very few parents who accept the reality that their child is not really doing very well academically and needs to be supported. Where the support has been done very well but the results have not come, they also accept the fact that this child's capacity could be that. Few parents accept that. Majority of the parents today believe that their children must pass very well like the rest. I'm a teacher, like I've told you. I have seen parents whose children joined primary 7 when they were scoring 36. Aggregate 36, and that is the worst aggregate in Uganda, in primary school. 36. Then, at the end of the year, this child scores a second grade with the aggregate 13. And the parent is bitter. Is bitter. The child who came with the aggregate 36 to P7 and the teachers of primary 7 have come together to help this child to score aggregate 13. And this parent is bitter. Can you imagine the effort that the teachers have put to push this child? When we talk about aggregate 36, we mean this child scored F9 in all subjects. And the F9 in all subjects would mean this child was scoring in 20s, in 30s, in 15s, and whatever. But this child has been helped within a space of less than a year to shift from the 20s to come and score 70s and 60s. And the parent is not convinced. So that is the pressure. So what would this teacher do apart from getting into that class to give it directly to the child? Do you see? Like I've talked about the school owners. You imagine having 100 candidates, 90 candidates, 150, 200 candidates. Others even have 600, 700 candidates. And somebody expects all of them to perform the same way. Let us get back a little bit. So, how do you bring 200 people, 150 or 90 people or 100 people, and you expect them to reason the same? Even if you, the parents who are bringing all these expectations here, are brought together, we put you in one room, you are 20 parents, and we teach you in that class the whole year. Do you expect all of you to perform the same way? By nature, human beings are not the same. It is by nature, and all other animals. If God can create us in that way, that we have somebody short, one is tall, one is fat, one is, but we accept that reality and move on with the difference. Yeah, the truth is I am short, but that doesn't stop me from living with the rest of the people. The brain that we want to perform miracles should be the same here is also part of the creations of the body. Therefore, there's no way the brains are going to reason the same way. Our brains are different. Yes, you might argue that this is training. You have to train them to come together. No. We have seen footballers who undergo the same training by the same people, but they go and perform differently. What does that mean? So the same thing applies to classes. Even in the class, we cannot be the same. Our reasoning capacities are different, and we should just be helped to do to the best. If this child started from 36 and has come to score 13 or 14, that is what he or she is capable of achieving. We only look for the field where this child can perform better, because we have seen it in class. There are children who struggle in class, but when you take them to some other activities, they outperform the ones who are excellent in class. And whoever told you that only those who scored the aggregate 4 make it in life? Anyway, that is a topic for another discussion. But all I'm trying to explain is that the pressure on the teacher is too much. The school directors want all their 100 plus children to score a first grade, and in some instances they talk about even a single digit first grade. That means no child should even get aggregate 10. Out of the 100 children, can you imagine? All these children should get between 4 and 9. Oh my God. The pressure is too much. The community expects too much from the same teachers. Do you know that when the results come, even when you get on a border, the guy is asking you, hey, you guys, you failed this time around. You get into the market, they're asking you, hey, you were a teacher in such a school. Oh, you did not perform well this year. What happened? You go to a salon, they ask you the same questions. You come home, they ask you the same questions. The neighbors are there. So the whole community is on you. Now, what do? You have to save your image by doing whatever you can do. And that's why teachers tend to take that risk. It's dangerous. That's one thing that is making the teachers to take such a risk. The pressure is from all corners. And the teacher is like, my life is on the line if I don't do this. Because people are expecting miracles. The school directors, the parents, and everyone out there is expecting miracles. Yes, miracles. Because if you bring a child who is with the aggregate 36 and you expect me to make this child to get aggregate 4, don't you think you want me to perform a miracle? So, let's go slow on the teachers. The second reason that could be making the teachers to do what they're doing is to also save the reputation of the school. The school has been doing it for the last years. What about now? You're struggling to ensure that the reputation of the school is not lost. And if you are to do that, then you have to jump in full swing to ensure that you get the best that you can get. Another thing that would mount pressure, especially on those ones who are in the private institutions, is the job protection. Do you know that as a primary school teacher, especially a primary 7 teacher, your job security is tied to your performance? It is your result that will protect your job. People have been fired because they failed to perform according to the expectation of the institution. They have been fired. So, still connecting back to the expectation, you have 100 children. All of them must perform well. You have struggled with them the whole year. You're coming towards PLE and you still see the results are not as expected. But behind you, the school says we want all of them in a single digit first grade. The parents are calling you left and right, please ensure my daughter, my son performs well. In the community, they're asking you, what are you going to pass this year? What last year you did like this, what and what? Then you as the teacher, you are at the center of all of these. And you know your job is at risk, your reputation is at risk, and the whole of you are at risk. What do you do now? Those are things that could be pushing the teachers to like, instead of losing my job, let me do as they expect. And how do they expect it to be? They want this, and let me give it to them. Come rain, come sunshine. Do or die. So painful for the teachers. So painful. So painful. And let us not forget, just of recent, the primary schools in Uganda have been in industrial action. The very teachers in the government schools were also in panic to ensure that these students perform well. Why would a teacher in government also panic? They have reasons, and there are so many of them. But what we should know is that right now, a primary school teacher earns 400,000 shillings in Uganda. Because many of these people go home with 460,000, 400 whatever. That's very little money. Given the situation in which we are living currently in Uganda, sometimes you sit and even wonder, how do these people make it? Especially these ones living within towns. The ones in the rural areas, maybe, I just say maybe. But I know many of them even down there are not doing well. They are struggling. That money is very little. 400,000 to live. How much do you eat in a day? In town where everything is bought. By the time your family has breakfast, lunch, and supper, if you are to squeeze and you make people suffer, you will eat 10,000. 10,000 times 30 days is 300,000 shillings. That's when you're squeezed. You've never eaten a meat. You're just squeezing life with the mokene and this funny meal. 300,000 is gone. We've not talked about transport. We've not talked about leisure. We've not talked about clothes. We have not talked about sickness. We have not talked about rent. We have not talked about electricity bill, water bill, TV. All these. But you have been eating very poorly, but at the same time, you don't have any money. I think if you were to do close analysis, you realize that in Uganda currently, especially those in government, majority of these teachers are in loans. They're in serious loans. There are those who have loans with the banks around, the commercial banks we know of, but they even go ahead to get more from the money lenders because even the loan they got from the bank was not. They don't even go to the money lenders. You ask teachers around there. Many of these teachers don't even have their ATM cards with them. The ATM cards are with the money lenders. The money lenders are the ones who go and withdraw the money from the teacher's account. That is so painful. It's a reality that is going on in the country. The money lenders are the ones who go and withdraw money. Ask teachers out there. There are so many of them. I am a teacher. I meet them and we talk. And they tell me the stories they are going through. They tell me the life they are going through. And many of these are in rural areas. And when you get a loan now, out of the 460, they are chopping like 200. So you have remained with the 200 to live with the whole month. And you still go ahead to a money lender to get some. So it's so painful. Now, such a teacher who is suffocating in loans has nothing. If he has a chance of somebody telling him, please, if you get that paper, I'm going to give you 100,000 shillings. Do you think he's going to leave it? He will rather risk arrest because he's desperate. And a person who is desperate can do anything because they reach a point of feeling they have nothing to lose. So based on the above, you can be able to see now why a teacher stands and says, let me risk everything to have this successful. You are able to see that. Now, as we wrap up the discussion, I would like to address the solutions. What solutions do we have to the problems we have discussed here? We have no definite solution to this because one of the reasons, like I said, is the competition. People are fighting to ensure that they get enrollment. Even government schools want to get bigger numbers so that their UPE grant is also more money. And also more numbers would mean something better for them as teachers. When they have more in P7, when they say, okay, coaching and what, they will also get some more money. So everyone is fighting for the numbers. Therefore, it's going to be very hard for us to really fight it completely. Private schools, it is the performance that gives them the number. So without the number, they don't have money. Therefore, they have to do whatever they can to ensure that they get the numbers. So it's going to be hard. However, I would like to give some simple advice to the people involved in the system. The first one I would like to talk to is the teacher. Yes, you are the center of all this. Everybody expects you to perform miracles. True, I understand it. But let us also look back at the risks involved. You need to remember that everybody is with you during the struggle, but you will be alone when things go wrong. The school that you're fighting hard for, if you are arrested, is going to turn its back on you. They might not even go to visit you when you are in the police cell or in prison. The friends you're sharing the papers with, thinking you're helping them because they're your friends, you will be surprised that none of them will come to visit you when you're arrested. The very parents whose children you are fighting for will not come to visit you even with the coin. It will remain for you and your family. So think about it. Do what you can and leave what you cannot. That's the teachers. And then to the school administrators, please do your best to invest in your staff. Sometimes your teachers are not producing the kind of results you want, not because they don't want or they're not putting in effort, but because they are unable to do it to the capacity you expect, because they might not know some of the things that they're supposed to do. They might be putting in a lot of effort, but which effort is not in the right direction because what they are teaching is not the most appropriate one to be taught. So what do you do? As a school proprietor, if you want results in primary 7, invest in the class. And the investment is in line with the capacity building for the staff, bringing on board people who can help you out within the course of the year, and also investing in having checks whereby you get your papers and you send them out there for people to mark and gauge you, how you are. They help you with the advice. Otherwise, if you wait for teachers to struggle up to the end of the year, then you start injecting in a lot of money that you want to get papers to help the children, then you are the one causing all this. So help your teachers. It's what you put in that you expect out. So please help your teachers to grow. They will help you to grow better. To the parents, my dear parents, the results that you stand to celebrate or sometimes you blame teachers for come after struggles. Teachers sweat a lot. There is a lot that teachers do that you don't see. These people sleep late. These people wake up early. Weekends they don't know because they are marking papers, they are teaching. Teachers go through a lot to have your child perform better. If you are to pay these teachers for what they do to help your children perform, then there is even no amount of money that you can afford to pay them. They sacrifice beyond what your money can pay them to have your child perform. So please, let's not mount too much pressure on the teachers. Let's not blame the teachers too much. Ask yourself as a parent, by the time my child gets this grade, and in that class there are children who have done better, who has helped them to do that? It's the same teacher. So if that teacher has helped other children to do well from the same class without isolating yours, and yours has not done to the best of your expectation, That is not a reason to blame the teacher. And don't go home and kill your child because they have not got the results that you expected. That's what they are capable of doing. The only thing you can do as a parent is to find where their strength is and where the weakness is, and you focus on the strength so that they can have a better future. Not to blame them for one single part of assessment. But even when you go back to the realities as a parents, if I'm to ask you, if you are to be made to sit in that same class with that child for the whole year, do you think you would perform better than them? How many distinctions did you get in your primary as a parent? But you are who you are today. So these children can also make it even when they don't get the grades that you thought they would get. They have tried their best. And that's all they could manage to come back with. You think they don't want to perform? They also want it. They also want to be praised. They also want the fall. But they have tried. Teachers have tried. That's what they are capable of doing. So don't kill them because of that as a parent. Appreciate what they've done and look for where you can help them better. So let us not look at it. I hear parents talk of 4 and 4. Even if you as a parent, if we put you, how many of you have 4s sincerely? If you are to sit in that class and you get a 4, a distinction in each subject, you think it is a simple thing? Some of you even don't want your children to see your results because you know what is there. But you are who you are. Some of you are in big offices. But when your results get closer to where children can access them, you pick them and put them where they will never see them because you know what is there. And here you're killing somebody who has performed even better than you. So let's appreciate what these children have done and what they're capable of doing, and then we help them to do better. And also as parents, you need to remember that the too much pressure you're mounting on the teachers has made them to move away from the real teaching that they should do in class to help your children grow better into making them cram what can make them to earn the marks. Even when they come home with the marks that they want to see, when the child has not been built holistically, do you benefit from it as a parent? Are you proud of that? Or you would wish your child to be built holistically in all aspects of life by this teacher? So if you want them to do their best, let's help them to do. But if you mount too much pressure on them, they will find ways of ensuring they give you what you want while compromising the most important things that they're supposed to do. So please, let's work together. And I request the government also, let's help the teachers out. They should not be so desperate that they can be hired to take a risk over just 100,000 shillings. That shows the level of desperation. So let us help them also out. Put them at something a little bit reasonable. Because whatever they are paid, really, so let's work together to ensure that we help the whole system to get better. I still believe the system can do better and will do better if we put our heads together. We are going to have so many of such discussions. I'll be engaging a number of teachers, a number of educators to delve deeper into this. Why do teachers take such a risk? Here I've just spoken my personal opinions. I just spoken my personal analysis. But teachers out there might be having some more reasons that I've not mentioned here. I will bring them on board so that you are able to listen to them. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching from the beginning up to now. I wish all of you the best of the time. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on TikTok and the rest of the social media platforms as we work together for the benefit of education. This is Jaganda Alochi from Evolutionary Education Services, and like I said earlier on, one of the authors of The English Doctor. I wish you the best of the day. Share this video to all the teachers and all the parents. Let's fight for our rights as teachers together. Thank you.